The mining colony on Proxima 7 hummed with its usual quiet rhythm, a delicate balance of human resilience and technological survival. Una Park moved between the massive industrial machinery, her slim figure a stark contrast to the hulking metal structures surrounding her. At 22, she wore a standard-issue maintenance jumpsuit, her hair pulled back in a practical ponytail, looking more like a routine technician than anything extraordinary. The alien patrol ship descended without warning, its massive shadow blocking out the colony's artificial sunlight. Krell, the lead alien commander, stood nearly 3 meters tall, his exoskeletal armor gleaming with Janjung insignias that spoke of countless conquests. His species, known as the Krovan, were notorious throughout the galaxy for their brutal efficiency and complete disregard for smaller civilizations. Una didn't look up when the first heavy boots clanged against the metal walkway. She continued her work, carefully calibrating a quantum stabilizer that regulated the colony's environmental systems. Her hands moved with precision, each movement calculated and deliberate. Another human colony, Krell's translator crackled, with contempt. His massive hand swept across the working area, his gaze landing directly on Una. Such fragile creatures. How do you even survive? The other Krovan warriors laughed, a deep rumbling sound that seemed to vibrate through the metal floors. They were used to seeing humans as nothing more than potential labor or occasional entertainment. Their civilization had conquered dozens of human settlements, finding them consistently weak and submissive. Una remained silent, her eyes focused on her work. A small smile played at the corner of her mouth, a smile that went unnoticed by the boisterous aliens. Krell stepped closer, his massive frame casting a shadow over her workstation. "Look at me when I speak," he commanded, his voice a mixture of annoyance and amusement. She slowly turned, meeting his gaze with calm eyes that seemed to hold something unexpected. No fear, no submission, just a quiet, almost analytical observation. "Interesting," Krell muttered, more to himself than to Una. He had encountered thousands of humans during his military campaigns, but something about this particular human felt different. The colony's supervisor, an older man named Michael Rodriguez, approached cautiously. "Commanders," he began, using the standard diplomatic greeting, "welcome to Proxima 7 mining colony. How can we assist you today?" Krell's attention momentarily shifted. Routine inspection, resource evaluation, potential conscription assessment. His words were clipped, efficient, carrying the weight of countless similar interactions. While the official discussions continued, Una returned to her work. Her fingers moved across holographic interfaces, making minute adjustments that would have seemed meaningless to an untrained eye. But beneath her calm exterior, something was brewing, a complex network of adaptive algorithms and quantum-level preparations. The Krovan warriors continued their inspection, their massive forms moving through the colony's corridors, scanning equipment, measuring resource potential. To them, this was just another routine conquest, another potential addition to their expanding galactic empire. Una watched and waited. Krell occasionally glanced in her direction, his curiosity slightly piqued by her unusual composure. Most humans he encountered showed immediate terror or submissive behavior. This one seemed different, small, weak, insignificant. He muttered to his second-in-command, pointing subtly towards Una. The other warrior chuckled, understanding the implied judgment. Little did they know that every word, every scan, every movement was being processed by a mind far more complex than they could comprehend. Una Park was not just a maintenance technician. She was something entirely unexpected. The first contact was complete. The true interaction was just beginning. As the Krovan patrol continued their inspection, Una's system began its silent work. Microscopic nanobots designed during her late-night research sessions activated imperceptibly. They looked like ordinary maintenance protocols to any external scanner, but they were something far more sophisticated. The colony's central computer system, which most believed was a standard industrial network, was actually Yuna's personal creation. What appeared to be routine maintenance logs were complex communication channels, gathering and processing information at quantum speeds that would make most scientific teams look like children playing with calculators. Krell's team moved through the facility, their heavy boots leaving marks on the clean metal floors. They carried advanced scanning equipment, designed to evaluate resources and potential threats. But these scanners were about to meet their match. Yuna's fingers danced across her interface, not with dramatic movements, but with calculated precision. Each touch was a command, each swipe a complex algorithmic instruction. The nanobots began their real work, not just observing, but actively preparing a defense network that would be invisible until the moment of activation. The colony's power, systems which seemed ordinary to the Krovan inspectors, were actually a sophisticated adaptive network. Yuna had spent months designing a system that could reconfigure itself instantly, changing energy signatures faster than any known technological scanning method could track. Standard mineral extraction, Krell reported to his second-in-command, reviewing preliminary scan results. Typical human settlement, potential for resource collection and labor recruitment. What Krell didn't know was that every scan his team conducted was being analyzed, decoded, and cataloged by Yuna's adaptive system. Each piece of alien technology was being mapped, its potential weaknesses identified and stored in a complex quantum database. The colony looked peaceful. Workers continued their routine tasks. Michael Rodriguez continued his diplomatic interactions with the Krovan commanders. Everything seemed normal, but beneath the surface, a complex technological preparation was underway. Yuna's research had been years in the making. She understood something that most humans, and certainly the Krovan, did not. Technology was not just about hardware, but about adaptive intelligence. Her systems could learn, reconfigure, and respond faster than traditional computational methods. The nanobots continued their silent work. They looked like simple maintenance units to any external scanner. They moved through power conduits, communication networks, and mechanical systems. Each movement was calculated, each action part of a larger, more complex strategy. When Krell's team completed their initial scans, they found nothing unusual. Standard colony, standard resources, potential targets for future conquest. They were wrong. Yuna watched them, her expression calm. To the aliens, she looked like just another maintenance worker. But behind her eyes was a mind that had been preparing for this moment for years. The colony's systems began their subtle reconfiguration. Power networks adjusted their signatures. Communication channels modified their encryption. Defense protocols initialized their preliminary stages. All of this happened without a single alarm, without a single indication of what was coming. The Krovan continued their inspection, completely unaware that they were walking into a technological trap designed by a human they had dismissed as weak and insignificant. Yuna's small smile returned. Not a smile of aggression or threat, just a quiet acknowledgement of preparation. The first phase was complete. The real interaction was about to begin. In the vast, cold corridors of the mining colony, a silent technological war was being prepared. And nobody, not the Krovan, not the colony workers, not even the colony's leadership, knew what was coming, except Yuna. The moment arrived without warning. Krell's team began their aggressive resource extraction protocol, their massive extraction machines powering up with thunderous energy. Metal grinding against rock, massive drills preparing to tear into the planet's surface. They expected no resistance. Yuna's fingers touched her interface. Just a gentle touch. The first alien drill suddenly reversed. Its massive rotating mechanism spun backward, causing immediate mechanical failure. Sparks erupted, metal screeched against metal. The Krovan technicians looked confused, their confident expressions transforming into bewilderment. "Impossible," muttered Krell's secondary commander. Another drill activated, another instant failure. But this time the machine's own energy turned against its operators. The quantum adaptive system Yuna had designed was learning, processing, and neutralizing alien technology faster than they could comprehend. Quantum algorithms danced through the colony systems. Each alien technological signature was being analyzed, decoded, and immediately countered. What should have been a simple invasion was turning into a technological nightmare. Krell's communication systems began to malfunction. Signals scrambled. Frequencies shifted. Their advanced communication networks became useless, replaced by random noise and incomprehensible data streams. "System failure," shouted one Krovan technician. Una remained calm. Her eyes tracked the technological battle, happening across multiple systems simultaneously. Each alien attempt to gain control was met with an instantaneous, sophisticated counter-strategy. The colony's workers watched in silent amazement. What had moments ago seemed like a certain invasion was now transforming into something entirely different. The Krovan, who had arrived with complete confidence, were now struggling against an invisible technological force. Power systems began to react unpredictably. Alien equipment started to malfunction. Weapons systems that were supposed to provide overwhelming force were now turning into expensive, useless metal. Krell realized something was seriously wrong. His advanced tactical systems were being compromised at a speed he had never encountered. Every technological advantage his species possessed was being neutralized by something he couldn't even see. Una's adaptive system was doing more than just defending. It was learning. Each alien technological signature was being analyzed, its potential weaknesses identified and immediately exploited. Massive extraction machines ground to a halt. Communication networks collapsed. Weapon systems became unresponsive. The Krovan found themselves facing something they had never experienced. A technological defense so advanced it seemed almost magical. "How?" Krell demanded, looking at Una. "How is this possible?" She didn't answer. Her fingers continued their delicate dance across the interface, each movement precise, calculated. The colony's systems, which moments ago had looked ordinary, were now revealing themselves as something extraordinary. What the Krovan had assumed was a simple human mining settlement was actually a sophisticated technological fortress. Quantum algorithms continued their silent war. Each alien system was being dissected, understood, and neutralized. The Krovan's technological superiority was being dismantled piece by piece without a single physical confrontation. Krell's confidence began to crack. For the first time in his military career, he was facing a resistance he couldn't understand. The weak humans were proving to be something entirely unexpected. The technological counterattack continued. Silent, precise, devastating. The communication channels crackled to life, but not with Krovan voices. Una's calm, calculated tone emerged, speaking directly into their communication systems. Her voice was neither aggressive nor threatening, just matter of fact. "Your technological infrastructure has 237 identifiable vulnerabilities," she began. Each word was precise, clinical. "Your quantum encryption can be broken in 2.3 seconds. Your weapon systems have a 64% predictability pattern." Krell and his commanders listened in stunned silence. How could this human know such detailed information about their most advanced technologies? Una continued revealing their secrets. She explained how their communication networks could be compromised, how their weapon signatures could be tracked, how their defensive protocols had inherent weaknesses that could be exploited instantaneously. The psychological impact was immediate and devastating. Krovan warriors who had conquered hundreds of civilizations found themselves completely exposed. Their technological superiority, the core of their galactic reputation, was being systematically dismantled by a single human. Krell's secondary commander began showing signs of panic. Their communication networks, once considered unbreakable, were now completely compromised. Every technological secret they possessed was being revealed with clinical precision. "This is impossible," one Krovan officer whispered, his voice trembling. Una's adaptive system continued its work. Each revelation was calculated to maximum psychological effect. She wasn't just defeating them technologically. She was destroying their fundamental belief in their own superiority. The colony workers watched in silent amazement. What had started as a potential invasion was transforming into something entirely unexpected. The mighty Krovan were being defeated without a single physical confrontation. Krell's tactical systems continued to fail. Communication networks collapsed. Weapon systems became unresponsive. Their entire technological infrastructure was being dismantled piece by piece. "Your invasion probability is now 0.3%, Yuna announced, her voice completely calm. "Recommendation: immediate withdrawal." The psychological breakdown was complete. The Krovan, who had arrived with complete confidence, were now facing a technological opponent they couldn't comprehend. Yuna had done more than just defend the colony. She had systematically destroyed the Krovan's technological mythology. Their reputation for invincibility was crumbling in real time. "How?" Krell demanded, his voice a mixture of rage and disbelief. "How is this possible?" She didn't answer. She didn't need to. The colony's systems, which moments ago had looked ordinary, were now revealing themselves as something extraordinary. What the Krovan had assumed was a simple human mining settlement was actually a sophisticated technological fortress. Quantum algorithms continued their silent war. Each alien system was being dissected, understood, and neutralized. The Krovan's technological superiority was being dismantled piece by piece, without a single physical confrontation. Krell's confidence began to crack. For the first time in his military career, he was facing a resistance he couldn't understand. The weak humans were proving to be something entirely unexpected. The psychological warfare continued. Silent, precise, devastating. The Krovan invasion was over before it had truly begun. News traveled fast in the galactic communication networks. Within hours, the story of Proxima 7 spread like wildfire. A single human technician had completely dismantled one of the most feared alien invasion forces in known space. Yuna Park became more than just a person. She became a symbol. Communication channels buzzed with the incredible story. Research stations, mining colonies, and diplomatic centers across multiple star systems discussed the unexpected defeat of the Krovan. Images of Yuna, a seemingly ordinary young woman, began circulating through interstellar networks. The Krovan leadership was in chaos. Their military reputation, built over centuries of conquests, had been destroyed in a single encounter. What was once considered an unstoppable force now looked vulnerable. Other alien civilizations began reassessing their strategies. If one human could do this, what might an entire human team be capable of? Krell and his surviving crew returned to their home world in complete disgrace. Their invasion reports were a humiliation, defeated not by military might, but by technological intelligence they couldn't comprehend. The story of their defeat was shared in whispered conversations, a tale of unexpected human capability. Research centers across multiple star systems began studying the Proxima 7 incident. How had a single human technician developed such advanced, adaptive technology? What other secrets might humans be hiding? The mining colony itself became a point of interest. What had seemed like an ordinary human settlement was now revealed as something far more sophisticated. Other alien civilizations began looking at human colonies with new respect and a healthy dose of caution. Yuna remained at her workstation, seemingly unchanged. She continued her routine maintenance as if nothing extraordinary had happened. But the galactic communication networks told a different story. Technological revolution, some called it. Human potential, others declared. The Krovan found themselves becoming a cautionary tale. Their once feared name was now synonymous with technological defeat. Military academies began using the Proxima 7 incident as a case study of technological vulnerability. Michael Rodriguez, the colony's supervisor, found himself fielding hundreds of diplomatic communications. Research institutions, military organizations, and diplomatic missions all wanted to understand what had happened. But Yuna remained silent. She continued her work, her small smile the only indication that anything unusual had occurred. The galactic perception of humans changed overnight. No longer were they seen as a weak, conquerable species. They were now viewed as potentially unpredictable, technologically innovative and dangerous in ways nobody had previously understood. Krell's personal reputation was destroyed. What had been a celebrated military career was now a story of complete failure. He became an example of what happens when a civilization underestimates its opponents. Communication networks continued spreading the story. Each retelling added more details, more wonder about the human technician who had single-handedly defeated an entire alien invasion force. Una Park had become a legend, not through physical strength, not through military might, but through intelligence, preparation, and an understanding of technology that went beyond traditional limitations. The Proxima 7 incident would be remembered for generations, a turning point in how different civilizations viewed human potential. One small colony, one extraordinary technician. A moment that would change galactic history forever.